It was really low since 9 was the last one I recorded.
Yeah, he's a little on the quiet
Yeah.
side, that
So I had
9
to put
hammer.
him back to like normal quality.
Mm.
But for like everyone else, so it doesn't peak, I have to like drop them down a couple decibels or so.
I hope I have enough coffee to last this. I got like half of my bucket.
Oof. Yeah, I didn't get any sleep last night.
Neither did I. Well, we can talk about that shit during the thing if you want.
We can.
Like, we gotta save as much conversation as possible. And this is all good shit that's happening, and we're squandering it.
Squandering it. Well, we're already recording.
Oh, fuck. Just make
As
this the
soon-
cold open.
Yeah. I always like doing a cold open. As soon as
Yeah.
I was done with audio check, I hit start. Welcome to Within the Underpass, as I've already explained to people listening at this point, because it'll be later on. I call it Within the Underpass because we're kind of like underground artists and stuff. That's what I like to think about, Newgrounds and everything. And when I think
Yeah.
underground, I think about me and my friends. We used to hang out sometimes in the little cubby at the top of the underpasses, and you'd see all this like graffiti and stuff up there. So that's just my imagination.
Yeah.
Today we have Slimygoo on here, who is a very, very talented artist. Does a mix of digital and traditional from time to time. Normally, you don't actually mix them together too much, though, other than maybe digital touch-ups, right?
Basically, I mean, there was a time for a little bit where I was like sketching traditionally, and then I would just take a picture of it, and then that would be like my sketch for the painting. I just kind of did that because my trad sketches were quicker at the time, but honestly,
Yeah,
it's not something I do too much anymore.
That's
I
still
just
how
don't
do
find too
everything.
much of a pragmatic reason to mix them.
Yeah. Well, because you probably have like a very good tablet, or at least a half decent one, to be
I
able to
got
do
like
good
the
sketches.
base level one.
Yeah. See, I don't have that stuff, so I still have to do all of my sketches by hand, even if I do what is otherwise
Yeah.
a fully digital piece.
Well, you do a lot of trad stuff. Like, don't you do all your inking for Extinimus?
Yes, I do all the
you do-
inking for my comics
Yeah.
traditionally.
What do you use for that? Microns?
Yes, yeah, I do. I have like 50 of them
Nice.
sitting on my desk.
I do love me a good micron. I'll
Yeah,
tell
the
you what.
problem is that when I did my move, I accidentally threw my still has a wee bit left in him pile in with the full pile. So I've got like this
God.
whole thing here that I've been slowly sorting through as I've been needing it. Like, okay, this is like emergency. I need a faded tip. This is the good one.
Ugh. That's giving me a headache just thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like microns, but you mentioned stuff like that, and I'm like, maybe dip pens are really better.
They are. I actually have a whole set of dip pens, but I
Dude.
have not refilled on ink in quite a while. I need to go get some.
Same. You want to talk about dip pens? Dip pens are fucking amazing. I love dip pens.
Oh, you have so much control too. All the different
Mhm.
techniques and types of lines you can make. It's great.
You can, and they're like not as flimsy as a brush.
Yeah.
It's like I look at all these comic artists that could like ink with brushes, and I'm just like, no, no fucking way. Like, didn't Frank Miller's inker do that
Oh,
with
I
a
think so,
brush?
yeah.
Yeah, like
There's
I
a lot
think
of artists like calligraphy pens, which is what the set I have because they give you a lot
Yeah.
of control. But I have a buddy in the industry, Gary Shipman, who does almost all of his inking with a brush.
I could not do that.
Yeah,
It's way too
very
flimsy.
satisfying
Way too
frames.
flimsy. I just use the Japanese stuff, like the G pens and
Yeah.
the Maru stuff. That stuff's good, but I do have a few here and there, like calligraphy tips. If I want like a line that has consistent thickness all the way through, I got something for that.
Yeah, because I think I got my set from like a church friend actually, like way back, and they're like, "Hey, I've got all these different types of like penmanship pens and stuff. They're really high quality, but I would never use them. You want them?" Like, yes, I can use those for art.
Yes.
So, would you like to introduce yourself in the way you would introduce yourself as an artist?
Oh, fuck me. I guess that's a thing I gotta do, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey there, folks. I'm Slimygoo. I'm an artist on Newgrounds. I do basically what you think that description means. I mean, I draw things, I put it on Newgrounds, people look at it, and they're happy for like 5 seconds, and then I make another one.
Yeah, life as an artist is a little rougher than necessarily like an animator because people are more likely to come back and rewatch your thing over and over again. But like as an artist, you're just like constantly having to pump stuff out. Like even
Yeah,
looking at your gallery, in the time you've been on, you have like 103 pieces over
yeah,
the
and
course of
like
just like a
five
couple
cartoons.
years. Yeah.
Now, granted, I like working on cartoons when I get the chance to. It's just I'm not really so much an animator as I am an illustrator, so I mostly do like the backgrounds for other people's cartoons and whatnot. Which, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, something coming up with a
Well, actually, you can
good.
talk a little bit about that if you want, because by the time this will air, it will already be past the project days.
Oh, all right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm working on something with P-Man. It's gonna be
Oh,
pretty
nice.
cool. It's gonna be like it's gonna probably rustle some jimmies, but that's just because it's a P-Man cartoon. That's how he rolls.
Yeah, all of his
He's
cartoons are like that.
Yeah, and I respect the hell out of it because you gotta. Sometimes you need to have someone who just says the things that need to be said that no one else will say because it's like, boo, I'm
Yeah,
scared.
you gotta have somebody who's bold enough to say
Hmm.
bullshit to people.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's like the tough love. You gotta have the friend who's willing to take you aside, look you in the eyes, and go, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, we're talking
What
about
are you
tough love.
doing?"
You actually, you're the first illustrator, or somebody who like that primary hat they wear is illustrator that I'm interviewing. I've
Yeah,
done two animators, or yeah, I mean Phasma's an animator. She's slightly more of a
yeah,
director because she gets people to help her, but she kind of
yeah.
wears both those hats. And both those animators had to pitch their series like an elevator pitch, and both of them were awful at it. And I had to
Yeah.
take criticism on that. Especially being like a comic artist, like the elevator pitch is one of the most important things for any
Oh
series.
yeah.
But you got it easy because you, as far as I know, you don't even have a personal project published yet in any way.
Nothing I'm
Yeah.
making super public yet.
Yeah, so we're just talking to you as an illustrator today, and
Yeah, we just get to talk about art, which is great because art is easy to talk about.
it's also really fun. There,
Hmm.
there are some spaces over here where there's people who they love talking about the art, but you can never talk about it too much. There's not enough people talking about art.
Oh yeah. It's always a treat when you find someone who's just as retarded as you, and when it comes to art, and you can just like go off for like
Oh yeah.
hours talking about the process and the struggle and the all that goes into it, all of the sweat, blood, and other bodily fluids,
Yeah, I think
methods.
you definitely get that more from people who have a traditional background too,
Hmm.
because you're kind of forced to learn like gesture drawings, figure drawings, value. I was laughing so hard at your panel because like, yeah, this is like the most obvious thing. You learn this year one intro art,
Yeah.
but it seems like a lot of these newbies running around picking up digital art as a hobby because they see people making cool stuff on the internet that
Oh
don't have an
yeah.
actual
Yeah.
background, don't have the respect for some of these fundamentals that they should.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see what a lot of these youngins do. I feels weird saying the term youngins. I don't think I'm that old, but yeah, what they
You're
do is
not that old, but there are some like even in the servers we hang out with where you need like a ID to get in. There are people who are like fresh 18, 19 in there.
yeah, I know. It makes me feel like it really feels weird sometimes where you have people who were born in like they don't there isn't a 90 in their fucking
Yeah.
birth year. They're just like, "Oh yeah, I was born in 2000." I'm just like, "Excuse me. What? Get out of here." But yeah, going back to what we were talking about with value and fundamentals, there's this term that goes around on image boards sometimes where it's like an artist has basically they've taken the render pill,
Yeah.
or like turd polishing is another thing that's come to mind where they take all their time and they study like rendering techniques, but they don't have any sort of other fundamentals to back it up. They don't know where values go. They don't know gesture. They don't know anatomy. They don't know anything else. And so what you have is basically a really well rendered, disfigured abomination in front of you.
Yeah, because there's no depth to it at all. So it's just like a flat image. There's actually a good example of that on my fridge right now. I don't know who did it. I don't really want to insult them to their face too much. Because if I found out who did it, I'd have to insult them to their face. But,
exactly.
They did this. The rendering's fine. All the hair on our dog Maggie's face, like they actually drew the dog's face, but because there's no value to it, they could even just take an eraser to lighten some areas to add some depth because she's a black dog. It just looks like this. There's no, you can't see the nose. It's just this flat image, like a potato there with eyes and like a little tiny snout and everything.
That's so like the nose just kind of disappears into the schnoz.
Yeah, kind of like if you were to draw dog features on a human's face, because we have pretty flat faces compared to most creatures.
Yeah, we don't have the extendo schnoz.
And that's
it's like
very common. I see, especially, you know, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to insult people.
We're not here to bully people.
But I've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, just imagine like one of those drawings from like a how to draw manga book, but you put it through like one of those like AI paint filter things.
Yeah.
Where and you're just creeped out beyond belief looking at it. So like that neck is bending in unnatural ways. Why is one of his legs like a foot and a half long? Where did he get like why is his eye looking at me and the other one's looking off at the sun?
Yeah. Oh. And it's like, because the one fundamental, which actually isn't necessarily a fundamental, because it's an exaggeration of a fundamental, anatomy. That's like the only thing that people have an appreciation for, even though they slaughter it. They just like, oh, I need to know my anatomy. But it's like, well, you know, anatomy is just an exaggeration of forms.
Forms. Again, it's really all about the form. I'd say forms actually is the true fundamental. Anatomy is just knowing where things. It's more of an aspect of character creation than like a fundamental of just drawing, like drawing as a thing, as a monolith, or whatever the hell you want to call it. At drawing as a discipline, I guess.
Illustration in general.
Because illustration.
A lot of people forget that even just like sketching and value studies are a part of illustration. They think it's only the fine-tuned inked works and stuff like that. But
no, sketching is super important because there's a lot of stuff that is captured in sketches very easily that is harder to do with like, you know, sort of the slower drawings. It's, you know, this is where you get your energy. This is where you get your flow, your force, your...
Well, that's why like gesture drawings are so important, right? Even when it comes down to anatomy, like when you're doing live studies, you usually do two different versions. You do one where you break down the gesture that the person has, maybe even exaggerating it, and then another one where you actually break down the body into several forms, and that's how you do like your anatomy studies. And a lot of people just skip that. They don't even like go gesture. I'm just drawing what I see.
Right. What we did in our life drawing class was we separated our sessions into sections.
Yeah.
And we would start with like, all right, we're going to start with 30-second drawings. And the model would take on a pose. And it's like, all right, well, in 30 seconds, we could just do the gesture and stuff. And then we'd slowly move up to 1 minute, 2 minute. And then at the end, we'd have a 10-minute one where that's where you would actually get the time to really get in there.
Yeah.
And doing those exercises is really important. Especially if you want to do commercial stuff like make money and whatnot, because what that does is it helps you get real fast, and speed is something that is highly valued. Yeah, time is money, especially if you're getting paid by the hour. Then it's literally money.
Well, it's even like, yeah, sure, paid by the hour is fine, But when you're freelancing, it's even more important because
No,
you're the
yeah.
one that has to schedule all of your time. So the more things you can fit in that time, the better.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. I actually had to do something similar to that. Like I've done live drawing stuff in the same way, but I had to do something in the reverse, which was like probably one of the most fun things I've ever had to do. And a buddy of mine used to do live streams when people were like putting their comics up on Kickstarter or Indiegogo to promote the comic. And
Yeah.
he would have us all play a game where we'd have to take the main character of their comic that most of us weren't familiar with. So it's not like drawing a character you've drawn 1,000 times.
Right.
And he would start us with the bigger time. He'd give us 5 minutes to draw the character. It was like a competition. And then it would get down lower to like a 2 minute, then a 1 minute, then a 30 second, all the way down to a 5 second drawing. And you
I've
got
seen those
really
before,
fast
yeah.
of like breaking down what's the important part of this character. A lot of mine just become like really quick graffiti drawings where I just take the brush pen and go as fast as possible.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos like that. It seems like an interesting challenge. I'm not sure like what kind of practical uses it has. I would have to like explore it a lot more myself. But
Well,
it's cute.
I think one of the most practical uses, like I just said, is it really trains you to break down something to its simplest form,
Yeah,
which is really important, especially if you're trying to make like your own version of something instead of just like drawing it as is. If you break it down to a simple version, then you can put your own spin on it pretty genuinely instead of looking like some weird satirical parody of it.
yeah. I hope I'm not hitting the mic with my mug here.
Oh, I can't hear it. So,
Okay, good. I wonder, can I get like a loud enough slurp into the mic? Let me see.
oh
Did
yeah,
that
I
pick
got
up?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Everybody listening will definitely be able to enjoy that, hopefully.
Slimy slurp ASMR. Coming to the audio portal. That's a lie. That's a joke. I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, this is going to be in the audio portal, so.
Well, yeah,
you
this
already
is yeah.
did.
It's already here.
It's just
Are
right
you
here.
happy? Are you
can just
happy, you
come-
sick fucks?
Just go and find the timestamp for it, and you can rewind to it anytime you want. It's right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Download this podcast. Isolate it in Audacity. Put that shit up on what do people Vocaroo, whatever.
Vocaroo. Do people still
Spam
use
it on
Vocaroo?
I see links for it on 4chan sometimes, and I think that people just use it for shit posting because that's the only time I see it.
That's probably it. 'Cause especially like
Oh.
4chan, once they find something, they just like they stick to it forever. 4chan, even like the newer people, they're like the boomers of the internet.
Yeah, the way they
God love
engage
them.
in memery is very old.
Got to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
Back
the
when-
big mistake is now putting that sample out there. Verbank is probably going to take it and throw it into a song sometime.
Well, now that you've said it, he's gonna do it. You're sitting here giving him ideas.
That's what I do.
Little gremlin's gonna make a little song with me slurping my coffee.
Yeah. That can
That,
actually
that
be a
silly
hit.
little boy. I like Burbank.
Oh, I do too. He actually just sampled me at the end of one of his songs, like the one last one that just came out.
I
It's
love
the
it.
oddest thing too. It wasn't like something recent. It was a video that I did, like an update vlog on my laptop webcam from my like original Asus Republic of Gamers laptop, like the first model they ever did of that, back in,
God.
like 2011 or something like that.
Those fucking laptops.
You could hear the loud ass fan in all of those recordings too, because I just used the webcam mic, and so it was like from 2011, and it was just like the end of the send off, and it was at the end of the song, and I was not expecting to hear that, even though I told Verb, yeah, you can feel free to sample me anytime you want.
That's awesome. Now I'm just thinking about those laptops. It's like, you got like a nuclear holocaust happening on your lap, and it's like, yeah, but it runs games though.
Oh, yeah.
Those memes, I love those memes.
Well, I got it in college as a work rig.
Yeah.
Because anything that can play games at that level can also make games at that level. So it was able to run
Yeah.
any program that I needed.
Like you got some
And-
decent GPU in there, some extra
yeah.
RAM than the average. laptop,
But
probably.
yeah, the thing I could probably have fried an egg right next to it on the countertop.
Oh,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah.
but I spent my textbook money on it because I found all of my textbooks online. It's like, shoot, I'm just gonna bring my
Yes,
laptop to
sir.
class and just use PDFs.
We don't buy textbooks no more, son.
We
Yeah,
gaming.
I think while I was in college, I only bought one textbook. Like throughout my entire getting a bachelor's degree shit, I only bought a textbook once, and it was in community college. The rest of the time, it was either I found a PDF or I bummed it off another classmate who was stupid enough to actually buy it themselves.
Yeah. Well,
And
that
I
was my
got away with
problem,
it.
right? Was I only did the textbooks for the first semester, and I didn't realize how expensive they were going to be from the loan. So I'm
Oh,
like, this is
dude,
fucking stupid.
it's a freaking it's a scam. It is such a
Yeah.
fucking scam. They are fleecing you
And I
with
felt
those
even worse
textbooks.
because first semester I had a digital imaging class, which is literally just a Photoshop class. And
Yeah.
I'm flipping through the sketch. There's a freaking textbook, and it's like I literally figured all of this stuff out the first week that I used Photoshop back in high school on my own.
Yeah, like there's so much stuff in this stuff that's like so much stuff in this stuff. What a
Yeah.
sentence. Uh, there's so much of this shit there where
Yeah.
you can just find it on YouTube for free
But some of it's
and watch
intuitive
it.
too, especially like older
Mhm.
versions of Photoshop.
Oh yeah, it's like welcome to like my textbook where we talk about how to use Photoshop CS4.
Oh, we were
Like
using 5, but I didn't have to use
CS5.
any of the stuff from the 5. I was still using CS4 for that class because fuck them. I wasn't going to buy a new copy of Photoshop just for that. Or
I miss
I could
CS6.
have used it in class itself because they had it on the computers. But after a while, I just stopped showing up to the class because they weren't taking attendance as part of a grade. And I just
Yeah.
turned everything in online, did it back at my apartment.
Yeah.
Especially because like I started becoming more of a teacher's assistant, but I wasn't getting any like credit hours or anything for actually being a teacher's assistant.
Oof. That's very unpug.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna do my work at home.
Yeah. Like I love coming into class to learn, half teaching half the class myself without pay.
There
It's like
was
fuck it, I'm just going.
an 82-year-old woman taking that class that was seated right next to me who needed help every like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, not boomer tech support, man. I don't. Who loves some boomer tech support?
It's
Of
like,
course, 82. That might have been silent gen tech support, to be honest.
82 back in 2010 winter. So yeah, it's like a
Yeah, that
fucking
would have been.
decade.
That,
She'd be 90
them-
now.
Oh my, she could be dead now.
She could be. She just told me,
Fuck.
he's like, I've already done everything else I wanted to do with my life, had my kids and my grandchildren, but I never went to college.
She's like, I'm gonna make my scrapbooks and oh, what's this banana peel doing here? Ah!
Done.
This is becoming in bad taste real quick. let's pump the brakes on that one.
Well, of course it's bad taste. I mean, that banana peel's got to be rotten to shit.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
not as rotten as the lady by now, but well,
That's why we bury people, so we don't have to deal with it.
it's like when you open a can of surströmming in a bowl of water. It's because the smell
Yeah.
really it just worsens up the place. You know, it reminds me of this is completely unfucking related. You ever seen National Lampoon's Vacation?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they're driving around and their fucking like great aunt is in the back seat,
But
just
she's
dead
glasses
for
on,
however
yeah.
many days. How did they not notice? Like, there has to have been a smell because she has to have voided her bowels because that's what you do when you die. You void your bowels.
Yeah. See,
Because, you know, there's no
my
life in
headcanon
there. Your shit just.
is that the son doesn't shower, being a boy of that age.
Oh,
they just assume that the
true.
smell was coming from him.
Poor Audrey, then, because she's
Yeah.
just sitting there in like a cesspool of fecal matter and dead broad and fucking
And BO.
and teenage teenage boy body odor, which is like one of the worst things on the planet.
Well,
But
the
I don't
adults just
know.
get to have their windows open as they're driving down the highway in the front.
I don't know. I honestly think chicks got a fucking. I think chicks got a good, pretty good competition going. This is another tangent.
Honestly, chick BO is way worse than guys.
Oh, God.
The only thing is that they happen to shower more often than the average guy, so they take care of it.
Oh my lord! I was this was back when I was in high school, and I was going to like a football game at some other school. I don't know why. I probably just wanted to get out of the house for some whatever reason. And you know, we're getting in line to enter the fucking field, and I'm up behind this fairly rotund chick, and I physically choked. I could not breathe. There was like the air was like it was like I was in the fields of Verdun, bruv. It was so bad. I could not take in air. I don't know what was on her to make her smell like that. It was like it's like if you took body odor off of a person and let it ferment in a mason jar for like a week.
Filled with old cheese on top of
it. Yeah. The cheese is what was growing in there. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you.
Mold?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you lifted a fold on this chick and found some nuggies.
Oh yeah, probably.
You know, some grubbins in there.
He lifts one of her folds herself. It's like, oh hey, cool, a hot dog. I didn't know that was in there, and eats it.
Nudules and crudules abound in those caverns.
Yeah, I don't miss high school.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, there was fun to be had, but you know it's bad if the memory is stuck with me for that long.
Oh yeah. Listen, like I thought I've smelled some bad smells before, being in like the guys' locker room and stuff in high school. But man, I walked through the women's locker room after school. Nobody was in there. I had to get something to like the trainer who was in there, and then I just walked through the locker room, and oh my god, it smelled worse than a freaking Smash Brothers tournament.
Oh, not the Smash tournament.
Yeah,
I don't know what it like. Maybe it's because like you know, there's a lot of extra.
Yeah, like
fluids and shit that women
like
have to
in there and...
they have to contend with, and you know they're young, they don't know how to do it yet, and it's just it's just like it just kind of piles up, and it just kind of coagulates into a cacophony of olfactory assault.
Yeah, it's.
Point is, women stanky.
Yeah. That's why, like, honestly, I'm glad I grew up in a house full of guys.
Yeah.
The only woman in there was my mom, who had a good excuse because she was in and out of hospitals.
Yeah, that's fair. All the other, like, my mom and my sister are on other sides of the house where I don't have to experience it. It is quite good in that regard. I feel I am also fortunate.
Oh man, I don't know why it made me think of, probably because we were talking about traditional art and now women's fluids.
Remember when this was about art?
Yeah. It made me think of like non-traditional art, where you remember the feminist craze of like
god
fluids.
I fucking hate that stupid fucking movement where it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a vagina out of period blood and it's gonna be like a statement. It's like what is it's just yucky. It's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking paint a penis out of my cum. Like, what are you saying? This is a biohazard on canvas.
It's only a flat tone. I mean, it's mostly just a shape. I could see a kindergartner do better. They just don't have the fluids to work with.
I mean, some of them try, like, they dilute some of their blood with like water to like get lighter and darker values, but it's like, I don't know.
At that point, you might just paint.
If it's a painting that if I get near it, I have like it's possible I get gonorrhea. Like, I don't want any part of that. Just use paint,
Yeah,
please.
I kind of prefer the trend of stapling bananas to walls. It's stupid,
Yeah,
but it's less dangerous.
man, it's like the whole modern art. It's like that post you see on 4chan a lot, where it's like this dude, he like spent like months carving this dragon out of
Yeah.
wood, and right next to it is like a poorly made, crude like clay sculpture of a dude sucking himself off. It's like this is this is art. This is what the world is. This is what the gallery system is like now. Have fun with that.
Yeah. Dude, art galleries have been fucked for a long time. I
It's
think
just yeah.
it's Andy Warhol's fault.
I
And
don't think
I
it's
don't want to blame
completely.
him directly, but it all stems from that movement.
I don't know. I feel like it's the abstract movement definitely. Like the postmodernist movement is just a cancer on society.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate. Not to get political or anything. Not to get political, TM. But like the way fucking postmodernist thought and pure subjectivism as a philosophy, not like an adjective.
You could broaden it to with moral anti-realism.
Moral anti-realism, maybe.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing that makes all possible morals subjective.
Yeah, like
You
pure
couldn't even,
moral
like,
relativism.
discern. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like to just say subjectivism, like in the
Yeah.
way that like in the way that C.S. Lewis would describe it. You know, it's like the way I like to describe subjectivism is it's like a measuring stick without markers on it.
Yeah.
It's useless
Well, that's
and
why it's worse, right?
and it's vapid and it sucks.
Anti-realism takes subjectivism to its extremes
Yeah.
because it's no longer a measuring stick without any markers. They got rid of the stick too. Because
Yeah,
they don't
it's an
think anything's
it's an
real.
imaginary measuring stick. It's not even a tangible object that you
Yeah.
could reference to. It's like it's an amorphous thing that fluctuates in length and girth at all times, much
like a
like
ditto.
my penis. That was funnier in my head. Look, look, I'm not caffeinated enough.
Oh, I'm not either. 'Cause neither of us slept. I tried. It wasn't for lack of
It's the
trying.
fucking time skip, man. Like, you know, I have a
Probably.
tendency to stay up late with the boys, playing Final Fantasy or whatever. Sometimes working on art or like gaming.
Oh, dude,
And
how
I
long did
looked
we
down.
play on fucking Friday?
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It was 4 a.m. where I was by the time we stopped. But it was
By the
worse
time
last
you
night because
stopped, I think
yeah.
I went like another 2.5 hours after that.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I've been leveling that all pretty. I don't know about quickly. I got my job crystal last night,
Nice.
so that's pretty good. And I got
Well,
my
between
chocobo
boosting
and all that.
the MSQ experience like years ago, plus all the bonuses you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just working with the Minfina's buff, right? The Minfina's earring buff. Like, I don't feel like doing the rookie stuff to get the rookie ring, mostly because I'm past the level cap now, and I don't think I'm gonna level anything other than Dragoon on that character. But still,
Yeah.
yeah, looking
Well,
down
actually,
and
that's
having it magically be 3 a.m. was not cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was also because we had a bunch of people playing together. We haven't done that in a while. That was probably part of it.
That was fun. That was real fun.
And got Nelly involved. That was
Yeah.
cool. Actually playing with Stan. That was actually the first time I've played with Stan.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I'm actually gonna try to level that character so we can run content.
Yeah. That's I need to finish leveling that character. I want to level a different class because I don't enjoy Monk as much as I used to.
Yeah, they changed Monk quite a bit in Endwalker, and I know a lot of people are. This is now the Final Fantasy XIV podcast,
Well,
by the
we'll
way.
get back to art because you draw a lot of Final Fantasy XIV art with your Lalafels.
I do. I draw my Lalafell a lot. I should draw my alt Lalafell now at some
You
point.
should. Maybe like a pointing thing between them since they're like opposites.
Yeah,
Like the spider.
and I've drawn my FF11 character as well, which is not a Lalafell, it's a Tarutaru, but still has the same name as my main. But yeah, I like drawing. I like drawing fantasy art in general, and Final Fantasy XIV is just a world I find myself spending a lot of time in. So naturally, I draw a lot of that. Mostly Lalafels because they're funny. They're little goober characters.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're fun. You got Papa Limo, who's just like in a perpetual state of I have had it with your shit, Ida. Leave me alone.
Well, I wouldn't say a perpetual state. It does eventually end.
No spoilers into the podcast. Look, I mean, like Papa Limo. I feel bad for my man's. He got done dirty. We don't have any good. All the male Lalafels got done dirty after what happened to Papa Limo. Because Pippin hasn't had a voiced line since Stormblood. He hasn't. This is true. And there's the guy in Endwalker, the dude who helped make the ship. He was there for a little bit. He's like, I'm Demoman. There's that. I don't know. When's the last time Wedge said anything?
I have no clue when's the last time Wedge said anything.
I don't know. Wedge is too busy getting 0 bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of consistent for every Wedge.
Yeah. But especially this Wedge, because this Wedge is like, oh, Tataru, I must protect Tataru, and
We won't even give him the time of day.
Yeah, and Tataru's like, I'm too busy being a literal Donald Trump. Actually being the Donald Trump of fucking Final Fantasy XIV.
The only person Tataru wants to take out on a date is the Warrior of Light.
Maybe, but that's just because, the Warrior of Light is famous.
Yeah.
I guarantee you if Wedge got some coin on him, she'd be like, ooh.
Or if, people in other countries knew who he was.
Yeah. Maybe, if she was down for the mixed race thing, maybe she'd go out with Hancock.
Oh, yeah.
The dude working for, Teleji Adeleji. No, Lolorito. Teleji Adeleji's the other guy. The guy who works for Lolorito, Kugane. The dude who shows up with the pince nez in the beginning of Stormblood, and he's like, I'm clearly a shady businessman.
Well, because since I haven't played Stormblood, I know the story. I've watched through it because I don't know when I was ever going to get to play it. But a lot of it doesn't sit as much because I was watching somebody else play through it. But I know who you're talking about.
I like Stormblood a lot. It's pretty underrated in my opinion. It's got some of the best music.
Yeah.
I like how we tried to pull it back to art, and then it just came right back to this. Because I started ranting about Lalafels, and then we started talking about... I don't know.
Yeah, Lalafels are cool. Actually, the Lalafels kind of over on the other server, the reason we were able to get so many people to play in the first place, right? Because because one person got Phasma, and then once you, me, and Phasma were playing, a bunch of other people hopped in too, and we just have a whole crew of Lalafels.
Because the idea was, okay, I'm gonna start this fucking Lala cult, where hey, we'll let you join, but you gotta play a Lalafell, and then we got all of these people just under the, it's not necessarily on every server, but on the world I play on, the Limsa Lamenta tree is often called the Lala tree.
Yeah.
Because that's where the Lalafells are. Hyperion on Primal, baby.
Brandy just had to be different. I'm gonna be a guy.
Tall people, cloud breathers, makes me sick. Jesus. You gotta really enunciate the B when you say it.
I don't have to.
Biggers. You gotta make sure.
Nelly's so off guard.
Oh my God, Nelly. Bless her soul.
What did you say?
Why did you say?
As if that's the strangest thing that's come out of your mouth in any of those. Oh,
jeez. Yeah.
Though normally it's homophobic slurs, not racial slurs.
Yeah, I like to make sure I'm I diversify my bigotry.
You're not a true bigot unless you believe in diversity.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's current year, 2022.
What kind of racist is only racist against one person, one type? You gotta You know, it's
I
it's
could tell
current
it's
year.
a
You gotta
What kind of racist is only racist to one type? A progressive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Whitey's. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like, what was that college humor bit where like they have the one dude that says racist and the one with a shirt that says racist and the one that says
No, that
progressive, and
wasn't
it's like
college humor. That was I think it's Ryan something.
Ryan something.
Yeah, let me find his name.
And it's like, I'm surprised with how much we found we had in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a single guy who does that type of stuff. Or no, God, I probably have the wrong name, but I know his name.
Ryan's toy reviews. I don't know.
No.
Wouldn't it be crazy? Imagine you're watching Ryan's toy reviews and the
JP, I think is his name. It's
a JP.
Awake with JP. That's the guy who did it.
See.
Yeah. He does a lot of stuff like that.
I just want to go out by another tangent real quick. Imagine you're watching Ryan's toy reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ryan's toy reviews, and you see that little boy, that little brown boy, that little like wholesome little brown boy. He's like smiling at the camera, and then he just looks. His face changes all of a sudden, and then he looks right in the camera and just belts out a racial slur in his little child voice. Just belts it out. Like, and not even like when someone's saying it in a joking manner. I mean, like with hatred. Like, you know how like when someone insults you,
No, I was right.
Yeah.
JP's the other guy who does similar sketches. It was Ryan Long.
JP.
I was right. It was
Ryan Long.
Okay.
Ryan Long.
I got Ryan right the first time.
Man, like, you know how you can tell the difference when someone's saying a slur jokingly and when someone's using it with hatred? Like, the way their eyes and their mouths move. Like, imagine, like, just Ryan Toys Reviews does that. How would you feel?
Probably alive.
Well, alive? Like, it would be like a jolt to the heart. It would be like a defibrillator. It's like, whoo, my blood's pumping.
Expecting that.
I feel like I could run a marathon right now.
I don't know. I think I'm actually like, especially in a joking manner, but I'm just completely immune to actual or anything close to racism from just being on Newgrounds for years. No,
yeah, because like you see I feel like browsing image boards does that too. You become so desensitized where it's like, which I honestly think is like the proper way to go about it. I think if everybody just used image boards and went into like, you know, these spaces, they'd realize that, you know, they're just like, they really are just words when when it comes down to it. Like, you know how in a conversation you will like again, I guess this is just Whitey talking over here, but like, you know how it's like you go into a conversation and you say a certain word over and over again and that word just loses all meaning.
Yeah.
It just feels like syllables at some point. Like, I feel like that's almost like a good way to approach these problems that the world has. We need to inoculate.
Yeah, it's.
Dare I say, we need to vaccinate.
It's called semantic satiation.
Semantic satiation.
Phenomenon for it, where if you repeat a word over and over, it kind of like stops being the word.
Yeah. Like that was like everyone knows that was a bit on Adventure Time. Fun. Yeah, semantic satiation. That's the word of the day, folks.
Yeah.
Watch that be on Final Jeopardy. You're gonna fucking thank us later, motherfuckers.
Oh no, they'll be like Phasma and they'll take credit for your idea.
Oh my gosh. So
I told her to start drawing comics because animations were taking too much of her time and she was out trying to like balance college work and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, I'm glad I had that idea."
Oh my god. I can't wait for the eventual Slimy Phasma boxing match. It's gonna happen.
Oh, that'd be great.
I will make it happen.
It's like the one person you have more weight on.
I mean, barely. I am a small motherfucker. I know Faz is not the biggest broad in the world, but still, I feel like it might be actually an even match.
Like 20 pounds on her for sure.
Maybe, but I don't think that's going to be enough to eke out a win.
But she's just going to try to headbutt you over and over. I'm sure you just put your hand out and just hold her there, and you'll probably be fine.
She'll be like, "Hey, vámonos, pendejo," and it's just like, and then I'm on the ground dead.
Pay-per-view that bitch.
Yeah, dude. Floyd Mayweather, Jake Paul, fuck that shit. Phasmagore versus Slimygoo, live on Newgrounds.com. I gotta stop. Otherwise, it'll actually happen. Like people will be like, "Where is it? Where's the fight, Slime?"
Listen, as the master of the Fighters Guild, I will hook this up.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Damn it.
Mostly
Like,
so I can sell my merch. Everybody will be wearing Fighters Guild
yeah.
shirts.
Oh my god, we can't have these jokes anymore because now fucking YouTubers actually fight each other and people take it seriously.
And I actually do have merch for the Fighters Guild.
Oh, stop! Oh, buy this man's stuff. He's cool.
Yeah. Or if you enjoy the show, people can just give tips directly. I'll leave my PayPal in my Newgrounds link.
Leave Metal some muns.
Yeah.
He deserves it. Give him some checks.
I like giving people free content that they can leave a tip if they enjoy it.
Yeah.
The old school way of doing things on the internet. Remember that's how everything was for the longest time? Oh
yeah, you'd go on like an old GeoCity site or whatever the hell, and they'd have like a PayPal button. Yeah.
Or even like old web comics. Like you go to Newgrounds.com and 8-Bit Theater's got their little tip jar right there.
Mm-hmm. Like didn't the Spoonie forums have a PayPal button?
Almost everyone did. Nobody expected you to subscribe to them to get content. They just knew that if you liked it, you wanted to give money to them.
Yeah. Or like they would like even back then I think they would do like the merch stuff.
Yeah. When it was possible because it was hard to get merch rolling back then.
Mhm.
Now
but like
can do it because of Teespring and all these other different places.
Yeah. But back then it'd be like, Homestar Runner would sell DVDs and T-shirts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe Homestar Runner is an extreme example because that shit was big even back then.
I think it was one of the first ones to actually really start doing it.
Yeah.
Give people the idea that they could do it.
But yeah, like they'd sell like DVDs or like. And let me see what's on the Homestar store right now, honestly, because I want to cop some Homestar merch at some point.
Remember, one of my favorite indie game series was completely funded by donations for the longest time, and that was Tuhu with Project Alice.
Oh, they sell their stuff through Fangamer now, like the Undertale motherfuckers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I have not checked out Homestar Runner's like website or anything in forever.
Yeah, they still got stuff going on. You know, they make stuff occasionally. Obviously, not as much anymore because the Chapman brothers are like working in the industry and everything.
Yeah.
So they're a bit busy.
I remember so long ago when that was like the big thing when it was like just getting popular.
Yay!
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh.
It's pretty. It's weird because like it's been around so long, like where you can have it's almost like a bridging of generations at this point. Because I could like make a Trogdor joke, and my older cousin would like be like, yeah.
What's weird is Trogdor. I think there are people who know about Trogdor that don't even know Homestar Runner.
Oh, easily. Trogdor was the part that got the most reach, I think.
I remember like spazzing out when I saw that it was in Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it was in Guitar Hero 2, wasn't it?
I think so. Was it? It was either 2 or 3. I think it was.
It was 2.
It was in the bonus track section, but yeah.
It was 2 because I played 3 to back to front.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get the Strong Badia flag as a wall tapestry. I want that. You can get like you can get a December Ween holiday sweater. I should get that for Christmas this year. I want the fucking Scalding Lake tee. That's a bit of a deep cut. That's the one that Rather Dashing wears. You know Rather Dashing, the main character of Peasant's Quest.
Peasant's Quest. Oh,
which was like the little King's Quest spoof they made that takes place in the Trogdor world.
Yeah.
Really.
Sometimes I kind of just want to go back and just go through all of Homestar Runner, but then I remember I've got other things to do.
I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
At the very least, When Halloween and Christmas roll around, I go back and watch the holiday specials.
Oh yeah, I always watch the holiday specials, especially the like remastered the older one where Strongman's like telling the story
Yeah.
with the ghost in the woods and everything. That one was remastered just like a couple years ago or whatever.
Nice. It's like watching the Homestar Runner stuff. It's like watching the Charlie Brown specials at this point. It's just
tradition.
something you got to do. You know, you got to watch the December Wayne Thnicka Man. Yeah, shut up, kid.
Man, it's internet history.
Yep. Yes, sir. Good old .com era.
Should probably talk about some art while we still have time. Like,
Fuck me, artwork, dude. Art. Holy shit, yeah.
I warned you going into this that these things just like spiral into different directions.
Welcome to the Slimy Tangent Podcast.
This is also partially why, like, by the time we were done, both Nine and Fast were like, "Oh, it's over already," and Nine was even like, "Oh yeah, you can have me back on whenever you want." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll have you back on," but you know that's probably gonna be months down the road where we've had other guests in between. We want to let some time pass so we actually have something to catch up on.
Oh yeah, you gotta space it out.
Because it's not like me and him aren't going to talk in between them anyway.
All right. I mean, is there anything you want to cover in terms of art, real fast? Like, do you have anything specific in mind?
You mean ask a couple questions. Since you do a lot of different mediums and stuff, what would you say is your favorite medium to work in? Like, specific types of paints, watercolors, acrylics.
Like,
you prefer digital.
I feel like as far as physical media goes, watercolor is my favorite. Just because I feel like it's the most watercolor combined with gouache specifically. That's how I like to work. I like to mix and match media when I can, but there's like some I've never really worked with oil, mostly because like it's a lot to set up and and it takes days to dry, and I'm not patient enough for that shit.
It's also quite a bit more expensive to keep up on than watercolors are. Yeah.
Now acrylic is nice and cheap, but the problem is I don't like using it. I don't like how it functions, like the weird polymer binder that keeps it together. I just don't like it's fine for like I painted some decent acrylic stuff on wood. But like as far as using it with other mediums,
I don't like it on canvas or paper. I used to do a lot of ceramics back in school, and if I was painting ceramics, sure, I would put like acrylic on it and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the problem is whenever you look up like tutorials for acrylic, it's always like the really like kitschy crap.
Yeah.
Like the really gimmicky bullshit. And it's like I'm sitting here trying to do like some actual illustrative stuff, and that's just why I go with watercolor, because that's what most illustrators use. Same with gouache, by the way.
Yeah.
Like back when it would either be that or oil, but like most artists would do like thumbnails or sketches in gouache.
Well, if I had a better scanner, well, now I need one altogether because I haven't been able to upload comic pages because my scanner died.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been trying to save up for a new one. So the reason why donations, people, I can go back to art. But if I had one with like a better, I guess, laser or whatever, could pick up things better. I actually was going to do my whole comic, aside from the lettering, traditionally with watercolors, because watercolor works very well with ink, since you can ink first and then watercolor over it, and the inks are still there.
Just please, for the love of God, use waterproof ink. You gotta check that shit.
Oh yeah, well, archiving ink is works great, and that's I use Microns. It's all archiving ink.
What brand of ink do you like to go for?
I actually really like the Sakura ink.
Sakura ink?
Yeah.
I usually just do Higgins. For Speedball.
Yeah.
I think Higgins is the one I use, like Higgins Black Magic, because I got some old bottles right fucking here.
Well I like the Sakura ink. It's the same stuff that most manga artists use.
Yeah.
which is another like it works really well with watercolors because of that too. Because most manga artists will watercolor any like pinup or display piece that they make.
Yeah. No, yeah, like I got really inspired by Araki's process, which is how I ended up doing a lot of the watercolor stuff with ink. I mean, like I even do digital line and wash just because I love how it looks.
Yeah.
I just need to do it traditionally again, which I'm a bit nervous about because I'm really out of practice with my dip pen. But it is what it is. You know, you gotta shake that rust off.
Yeah. That was actually one of my problems when I first got back into doing comics in 2018 because I had taken like a huge break from doing things where at most maybe I would do character art here and there. And
Right.
when I first got back into it, I didn't have good pens. In fact, I was broke, so literally all I could get were Sharpie thins, and I just worked with
Yeah.
what I had. Sharpie thins on computer paper, so they were bleeding a bit. And
Yeah.
that was the issue, and I was also coming out of being rusty from not doing things. So people are like, "Oh man, you've improved so much in a short amount of time." It's like, no, 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 no. You just happen to see me shaking that rust off at about the same rate that I got better supplies.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's like when you're starting off with like ballpoint or gel pens as well.
Yeah. Oh man,
That's what I did at least.
Pens, yeah,
Ballpoint pens are great for sketching, by the way.
they
Oh god.
are. Especially when you're stuck in class.
Oh god, yeah. Little margin doodles.
I've seen people make amazing, highly like rendered sketches with ballpoint pens.
Oh,
that
same.
I wouldn't even believe. Especially like I don't know what it is about like maybe cultural interests or something like that. But every like Hispanic kid that was ever drawing in any of my high school classes would draw like these really heavily detailed dragons. Muscular
Really?
dragons too, but heavily detailed dragons, and they would have like all these sharp lines, and it actually almost looked like, even though they were European dragons, you could tell there was some type of like cultural mix in there because they had like those right angles you would see in like Aztec drawings and stuff all over the thing, and they were like some of the coolest things I've ever seen, just sketched out, not even drawn, just done straight with pen from scratch, no rough sketch underneath it. And it's just like, you guys are amazing. Like, I think I'm good at very specific areas of art, but the level of confidence that some of these high school students would have drawing these dragons were just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I can think of a few people I've probably seen like that. No, I couldn't name them, but it's more like an esoteric memory.
Yeah, like, I don't think I remember the name of any of these kids. Like, they were in my shop class and stuff like that, and I maybe talked to them 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
craziness.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I feel like like this is like a train that went off, like derailed, killed everyone inside, and then somehow like it's made of rubber just bounced right back on top of the trail and just kept moving.
Yeah, it's usually how these things go.
Yeah. And then everyone's relieved until they remember they're headed for Gary, Indiana.
Oh, Gary.
Gary, Indiana.
You wish it was just a pass-through town.
You really wish. I mean, it was when I went there because we were just trying to get to Chicago.
I
But
guess
yeah,
you would take that way if you're going to Chicago from where you were.
it's like, these poor people, weed's not legal in Indiana. They can't even smoke their fucking problems away.
All they can
They're
do
just
is
sitting in an abandoned
hide in
church.
a
Lord
room.
knows there's plenty.
hide it in their room, jerking off.
Yeah.
Can't even let anybody know, or else they'll be shamed.
I'd say let the sunlight in, but the sun don't shine in Gary.
No, it don't.
Oh no.
Well, that has been an hour.
Sure has.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Is there anything you want anybody to know before we close out? Anything you want to say? Any projects you might be coming? I know you have something you don't want to talk about yet, but maybe by the time that's actually rolling, we can.
Yeah, like keep an eye on my Newgrounds and my Twitter. Like,
I would
it's
eventually
Slimygoo
like to
on
know
both
what you're
things.
going to do with that Polly character.
Of course, of course. That'll be probably it.
Yeah.
Keep an eye. I try to keep people updated on my Newgrounds and my Twitter, so keep an eye on that. I'm Slimygoo on both of them. I also have an Instagram that I'm really lazy with because Instagram is gay.
Yeah, I'm lazy with Instagram too.
It's so like now they let you post from your PC, which is great, but that hasn't made me any less lazy with it. Rather,
Oh, I always posted from my PC, but now we don't have to do weird workarounds like.
oh yeah, because you'd have to do like a workaround where you could load the mobile version of the site from your computer. But yeah, like on Newgrounds, I'm Slimygoo. On Twitter, I'm Slimygoo. My @ is with 3 O's because the @ was taken by some other motherfucker. But yeah, you keep an eye out for stuff. Of course, I post art fairly often. My commissions are open as well. If I'm to shill a little bit,
you can.
If you want some art, throw me some shekels, and I'll draw something for you.
You need more commissions.
Yeah.
So you're drawing more than just Samson all the time.
Of course. And also, of course, I'm working on something with Prosciutto Man. That cartoon should probably be maybe out by the time this is up.
Probably.
I'm not sure. It's like a week from recording.
Yeah, this is probably going to be up because I don't know exactly what order I'm putting everything in. You are going after 9, who's going after Phasma. But I also
Does that make me 10?
I guess, possibly.
It's a shit show.
But at some point, I have to put the old interviews with Saf and Verb and the interview with Neko in there too that I've edited to work in this. So
yeah,
you
got an interview with Verb
somewhere between 3 a while back on my live show. I just re-edited him to work for that.
Oh, on like the vomitorium.
Yeah. So either
talk?
you'll be 3 for Verb. No.
Fuck.
Saf was on the same interview with him.
Okay. I was
and
figuring
was the
finally
voice.
we had the Verb voice.
Oh, I will get
reveal.
it one day. Even if I have to take my camera up to his house and just like blank out the actual video footage at the end.
Whatever weird cave in Yemen he lives in.
Yeah. Well, obviously I can't show you Verb or his lair, but I will capture his voice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't show Verb on video. You know, you're not supposed to depict. You're not supposed to depict Muhammad, and then you know
the prophet. You can't do that.
You can't depict. The prophet.
We will hear his voice one day.
Someday. At the end of time, by the grace of Allah, we will hear him.
I will go all the way up to New York just to capture that.
Yes.
But yeah. So you'll either be 3 or 4 or 5, depending on what order they go up. I haven't decided yet. I have to figure that out. But probably 3. And I still have to record a couple more before I put these all out. So it could be anywhere between 3 weeks from now to well over a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess is this a wrap then?
That's a wrap.
All right. Thank you for having me, Mr. Metal Sir.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course I came before I came on the show.
That helps.
Whatever. Give this man money. He makes cool things.
Oh yes, I do like money.
Yeah.
Money's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, bye-bye, everybody.